Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning, good morning. So we're going to get started. I have out a pre-traced canvas. I'm going to turn you guys around and we are going to get started. So, good morning. I don't know if you can see the pre-trace. I can, and that's all that matters at this point. And I'm going to put out a little bit of one of my favorite colors. This is actually peacock blue. But I'm also going to put out a little bit of white, tone it down a little bit. Okay, and there we go. I'm going to load my brush with white and we can chit chat while I paint. And I'm just going to start here on any corner. So I'm loading my brush with the white. I'm dipping a corner in the blue. And I want my background, for lack of a better word, to be messy and have some character. A background is not a unimportant part of your picture. Some artists actually make the background the focal point of their picture. I'm not one of them, but a background is important. A background can make or break one of your paintings, and you just want it to have a little bit of dimension and be a little bit interesting. But the focal point comes in the details and the main theme of your painting. Some paintings are just what I would consider background and throwing paint against the wall, but that's for another day. So we're doing a butterfly today, but there's something unique about my butterfly. Well, all butterflies are unique, right? But there's something unique about this butterfly because you are going to make it your own. So if you're not familiar with me, I am Teresa from Teresa's Spot for Art. And I create and make art kits for at-home art. And I have complete kits that I ship out all over the country that have a pre-traced canvas like this one, 2 brushes, and then more times than not, a video like this one with me painting it step by step. Sometimes there are a few kits, I'm not going to lie, that have written instructions. And that is because they're pretty straightforward and easy to follow the instructions. But for the most part, I would say 98, 95% of my kits have a video, step-by-step video tutorial that you can follow, that you have 24/7 access to. And I'm just painting in my background now, working my way around. So I'm just working my way around the outline and the pre-traced of my butterfly here. I'm always picking up white on my brush, and then I'm just coming over here and I'm just picking up a corner of this beautiful peacock blue. You can actually, butterflies are so colorful, and this butterfly is going to be so colorful. You can do your background any color you want. This background would look really cool with like a lime green, which maybe if we have time, I'm going to do 2 of these because I have a trick to doing this another way. And hopefully if we have time, I'll be able to do that for you. And then I will do a lime green background for that one. So when I come around the butterfly, I'm going to come on the chisel edge of my brush so I can get nice and close and have a nice straight line. And then I feather it or blend it out. And I'm constantly going over my blends. See me backing up a little bit? When you blend, you want your paint to be wet. You want your paint, obviously the paint on your brush to be wet, the paint on your surface to be wet. And I'm going to go right over the antlers. Antlers! I'm going to go right over the antenna. There's no sense in trying to paint around the antenna. We'll just put them back in later. So anyway, you want everything to be wet. You want your surface to be wet, and then obviously you're adding wet paint to that surface and you're blending. And I work my way away, and then I work my way back. And I'm always picking up white, a little bit of blue, and then I'm coming back. If you have an area where you look at it and it's way too blue or way too white, pick up the other color. It's totally okay. With acrylic paint, you can fix anything. And if you really need to fix a mistake, you want to 100% be patient and wait for it to dry, and then you can go back and fix it. Even if you have to go back by painting white over it to begin with, and then going back and fixing it, if you're patient and you do that, it is totally possible. All right. So every time I pick up white and then just a corner of the blue. And there we have the background for my butterfly. Now you can paint the sides if you want. You can leave the sides. Totally up to you. Sometimes I leave them. Sometimes I paint them. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to wash my brush. So this is a pre-chased canvas. All my kits come like this, packaged in here. I tell you what you get. I tell you what you need. And what you need is pretty simple. Table covering, paper towels, and some water. There's an image of the picture, and then there is a QR code for the video. Then you get a set of brushes, right? The same brushes I'm using today, they're just in a little bit of a different color, and all the paint you need. Sometimes it's a little pot of paint, sometimes it's a big bottle of paint. Okay? You get all the colors you need, no mixing required unless it's like a gray or a pink, and I only give you red and white or black and white. Other than that, there's no mixing required. I provide all the colors necessary. Okay? And it comes bagged up like this, all ready to go, everything you need. Open this, cover your table, get yourself a cup of water for your paint, get yourself a cup of tea to drink, and you are ready to paint. Put me on your TV, your phone, your iPad, whatever it is with the video, and you are good to go. Okay? So now I'm going to put out some pretty fun, bright colors. I have some pink. I have some of this really, is this bright yellow? All right. I have some purple. It's more like a lavender. This is called Wild Orchid, but it's more like a lavender. It's like a very, very light purple. I still have my blue. Okay. So there's my colors. A pink, a yellow, a purple, this beautiful peacock, and then some green. I'm going to switch to the smaller brush now. And I'm going to mix a little bit of this pink and a little bit, yes, I'm mixing, but if I were giving it to you, you wouldn't have to mix. I'm going to mix a little bit of this yellow and pink because I want my yellow to be a little bit different up here. And it's making like a little bit of a light orange. And I'm going to start painting in the middle segment of my butterfly. So I like to think of it as my butterfly having 3 sections: the outside, the middle, and then this part. And this is what we're going to do something fun with. Okay? If you are new to art, if you are especially new to painting with acrylics, you're painting sorry guys, but your painting is going to be ugly before it gets pretty. Okay? It's just the way it is. Your painting has to go through stages, and that is okay. That is totally okay. I'm moving down here. And so that's why I added, can you see the difference? I don't know if you guys can see the difference. This a little darker, this a little lighter. I just want a little bit of contrast in this area of my butterfly. So I added a little bit of my, I think it's royal fuchsia, to my yellow up there, just to make some little bit of contrast between the top wing and the bottom wing. That's all. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I know. So we are our own worst critic. And so I'm going to make that bigger because I want them to match. Our painting goes through stages. And I have started using the analogy of painting being like pizza. I equate painting and the layers of a painting just like the layers of the pizza. And you start from the bottom with the dough and you work your way up to the awesome toppings, which then are the details and makes your painting really unique and beautiful. Our painting, or we're working on our pizza, we're not going to eat it. We're going to wait for it to be done. We're going to wait to put it in the oven. We're going to wait till it comes out. And it's the same way with the painting. So if you're painting along with me or anybody else, this goes for everyone, and you're like, oh, look at it up here, I messed it up. Don't fret. Don't fret about that. Don't worry about that. Keep going. Just keep going, and you will be shocked that it all comes together. It's just pretty amazing how that happens. I'm not going to lie. Okay? All right, I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to stick with the small brush. I usually paint with a flat brush. I will paint with a larger flat brush. I will paint with a smaller flat brush. And then I always have a liner brush. This is my very favorite liner brush. It's a plaid. It's the one I use all the time. No matter what other brushes I use for my art, at the end, it comes down to this liner brush. I always use this liner brush. So pick your favorite and you'll be good to go. So back to the painting. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of this pink. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white, and I'm going to start filling in this section now of our butterfly. Now, if you're new to painting and a liner brush scares you, you can wait till your painting is completely dry and use paint pens. Yeah, there's no rules. There's no art police. There's no rules. You want to use a stencil. You could get a beautiful butterfly stencil and start this whole project out with a butterfly stencil. There's no rules, you guys. So if you wanted to, and I'm just lightening up my colors. I'm going to use my green now, and I'm adding quite a bit of white to it. If you wanted to wait to the end, I need a little darker though, and use a paint pen, a black paint pen, a white paint pen, to add all your shading and highlighting, go right ahead. Art is about how you feel when you're creating it. That's it. Art is about how you feel. It's not about the rules. It's not about what anybody else is doing. It's not about what anybody else says you should be doing. Nope. Art is for you. Art is my therapy. And nobody should tell you how you should create your art. Do we want to learn from others? Are you here to learning and being new at something and learning how to do it are two different things. Somebody to tell you that you can't shade a certain way, or you can't use certain products in your mixed media, or you can't start with a stencil or a tracer. That's what I'm talking about. That's when you want to start with a tracer, that's up to you. And that's why all my kits come with a pre-traced canvas, because it is easier. This is not a drawing class. This is a painting class. We're not here to draw and learn to draw. We're here to learn to paint. So I get you started with a pre-traced canvas. And all my kits come with a pre-traced canvas, a video, all the paint you need, and the brushes. Okay. And so if it's cold and you're home, Are you taking down your decorations? You want something to watch or entertain you in the background? This would be perfect for that. Okay, I'm going to get out a little bit of black now. And I'm going to get a smaller flat brush, but I'm not going to use my liner yet. Get my black. And now this is what I was talking about, how now we're still base coating, but during the process, our art really starts to take shape. And so if you are only like on the first 1 or 2 steps, don't fret, because just putting in the body, look what a difference it made. Just adding the body in there. So now we're going to fill in the outer layer. And I work this way. I fill in the outer layer last, because now if I messed up my background, or I made my little segments inside my butterfly wonky, now I'm coming back in with this black and I'm cleaning it all up. A little brush, and I'm going to come in here, and now I can clean up any edges that I didn't like, any areas. Now you can clean up anything, especially, and I'm not going to lie, this is easy because it's the black paint, and the black will quickly clean up any lines. But it works the same with anything. Even if this wasn't black, and this is my step where I was coming in here and doing the end here, it would still be okay. It just cleans it up. And that's why I work in a certain way. So I'm going to come up here. And this is why I tell you, a lot of times my painters, I do in-person events, I do virtual events on Zoom. My painters will be like, oh no, I messed it up, I ruined it. No, you didn't. You can't ruin it. The only way you can ruin it is by giving up. And then you didn't really ruin your painting, you ruined the experience. Okay. So I'm going to fill all this in with the black. 1109. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I put that link in the comments above as well. And you can hop over and subscribe to my YouTube channel. There are dozens of videos on there. All kinds of art. Valentine's Day, spring, fall, Christmas, of course. Oh, and if you're wondering, I paint on a Lazy Susie. I paint on a Lazy Susie so I can keep turning my canvas around. I rarely, probably when I say rarely, I mean never, paint on an easel. I don't like them. I don't like being like this the whole time. I'd rather paint flat. We got all this in. Now I'm just going to start adding a little bit of highlight into my wings. I'm going to add some white highlight to the body, and then I'm going to add a little bit of white detail to all the black sections of the wings. Some big dots, some small dots. You want to kind of make them match from left to right. I'm going to put a dot And then I'm going to pull in an antenna. I'm going to put a dot, and I'm going to pull in an antenna. Okay. Now, this is where it's going to get unique, you guys. And like I said, you can use a paint pen. You can use a Sharpie. The one thing you want to do, you want to make sure that your painting is completely dry. Okay, you want your painting to be completely dry before you use a paint marker or a Sharpie. So, when you can get a pencil or a piece of chalk. This is the time where you can put whatever you want on here. I'm going to put I am. I am. Okay. You can put you are on here. You can put she is on here. You can put anything you want on here. And then I'm going to come back with my liner brush. I'm going to paint in the letters. Now, if you are a fancy letterer, you can do some fancy lettering. I am not a fancy letterer yet, but come back next January of 26 and I will be, because that is one of my goals for 2025 is to become a fancy letterer. Yes, you can still see the chalk, and that is okay, because later or tomorrow, when my painting is 100% dry, I can come in here with a damp paper towel and wipe all the chalk marks right off. Okay? And then now you can do whatever you want. So I'm going to come in here. Unique. Artsy. Strong. Funny. My husband doesn't think I'm funny, but I do. Kind. Generous is too hard. I'm going to put giving. Not that generous is too hard. I couldn't fit generous in this little wing right here. Giving is much easier. Then I'm just going to take, and I have a signature, you guys, now. And in part of my quest to be a fancy letterer, I finally came up with a way to sign my art. And so it's a lowercase t, a lowercase g, and then a little swoop over the top. It needs some work, but there we go. And then I'm even going to put here 2, 5. Put this in here, and here we go. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day, and thank you for watching me. Head over and hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel too. I really appreciate it. Everybody have a wonderful Saturday. Bye, everyone.